What's most depressing is that I asked for this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well.
Brett said, "Do you have any movies that you'd really like dibs on?" And I'm like, "I want to see Let's Be Cops. That looks really funny."
It wasn't.
Basically, we were saying that if you've seen the preview for this movie, you've seen... I go so far as to say literally every funny moment in this movie.
I always say every funny moment, but most of the really good ones.
Part near.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've seen the preview, you understand the plot, and the movie is exactly the plot. Really good third act. The first act is so rushed and awkward.
God, yeah, it's like... It basically introduces the two characters, frickin' Nick Miller and Damon Wayans Jr.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're both living in LA, they're 30, they're not really doing anything, he's unemployed, and Damon Wayans Jr. is like an assistant at a video...
Jake Johnson, Nick Miller's
Frickin' Nick Miller.
character's name. New girl.
Damon Wayans Jr. is like an assistant at a video game company run by Jean LaJoie. And he's introducing a video game that's based on cops. And they're not buying it. And he, for some reason, bought 2 cop uniforms as part of his presentation. Was that how I interpreted that? So then he went home. He's like, I didn't get it. Meanwhile, we have to go to a costume party. Let's put all these cop uniforms and wear them. And then it just kind of escalates from there. And it's like in the preview, it makes you feel like it's gonna be like a funny, no real consequences
romp.
Yeah, exactly. But
it quickly becomes a weird combination of 21 Jump Street and the Green Hornet.
And weirdly tense too. Like the guy playing in the villain in this movie, I swear to God, he thought he was in a different movie because genuinely terrifying. The guy with spiders on his face.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
But yeah, they accidentally go up against like the Russian mob or something, and yeah, they get in the shit. Stuff happens.
And it goes exactly as you'd expect it to.
They live a little, they learn a little.
He gets the girl.
Yeah, I hope that Jake Johnson ends up with Natasha Leggero's character. I thought they made a cute couple. She plays this like coked out woman whose apartment they just like squat in for a while to do a stakeout, and she's, you know, falling out of her top. And, ew, cop, so sexy. And again, I'm sure it was supposed to be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it had moments that were quite funny.
I'm struggling to remember any of them.
But not enough to like pull a movie together out of it. It was disappointing.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it seems like a bad... Like, if this had gotten released, like, last year, it might be a little more tolerable, but coming up in the same year as 22 Jump Street,
which was amazing.
Which was, and a much, much better movie. This can't... Such a similar concept, almost, story-wise, but this just doesn't work nearly as well. Don't waste your money on it. Maybe when it comes to Redbox and the other 3 movies you want to see aren't in the box, rent this.
Maybe watch it when it's on TV?
Yeah, TV. Commercial breaks actually might make it more palatable.
Plus maybe they'll do the taking out the cuss words in a funny way.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to... Because, like, usually when a movie is bad, it's pretty easy to nitpick and find stuff to say bad about a movie. But in this case, it was boring bad. And it was boring in the way that a bad comedy is, where you can tell where they're trying to be funny. And, you know, you could tell how maybe it could have worked. But it's just kind of like, joke. You can't see that one coming. Joke. And it makes me sad because, again, we both really like the show New Girl, and so it was nice seeing those 2 actors in a movie, but it was just making me sad.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just off. Yeah. I really don't have shit to say other than yeah.
Yeah, Rob Riggle showed up and he was relatively funny, but for the most part, his character was the real cop who wasn't part of part of the dirty cops, and his job was basically to be there to be like, you guys are dressing up like cops, and that's a bad thing, and you could probably get arrested, and being a cop is a privilege. And so I enjoyed that they actually included that and didn't just let's be cops. But the fact that I enjoyed that meant it wasn't the kind of movie that I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those weird movies where it doesn't quite work, and I can't tell whose fault it was besides maybe the screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Because fairly well directed. I mean, some of the shots were decent. For the most part, acted really well. Damon Wayans Jr., the first half of the movie kind of threw me off a little bit because he was playing everything very flowy.
I feel like they were making a lot of gay jokes, and I didn't much care for that. Because they weren't just stupid stuff like John LaJoy had the video game that was firefighters versus zombies. He's like, oh, you got your shirtless firefighters spraying their hoses at zombies. What are you trying to say with that? It's like, I get it. Thanks. And yeah, his Damon Wayans Jr. character was just kind of weirdly effeminate at times, and every time it did, the movie would kind of ha, I get it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't quite come together as a whole.
I kind of felt like it was bad from the get-go because, the first act of the movie kind of felt like they had cut a bunch of stuff out to try and make it a little snappier, but it ended up feeling like a montage leading up to the actual movie.
Yeah.
So it was this is this character, this is this character, this is how they get cop uniforms, and now let's be cops.
Yeah. I don't have shit to say.
We could talk an awful lot about the previews.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about the preview. What do we get?
Oh, final thoughts. Let's be cops. Let's not be cops.
The master list.
The master list. And my handwriting gets more and more sad as it goes down the arm. Okay, well, we got a preview for a movie that I hadn't actually seen a preview for yet called St. Vincent, starring Bill Murray, and I think that looks really good.
Yeah, no, Irving and I got that preview before fucking Tammy, of all things.
Yeah, the previews were kind of all over the place, but this kind of felt like what that, kind of felt like what that other crotchety old man with the martini movie was trying to be. I'm trying to remember who that was. Was it Robert De Niro? Anyway, this is kind of like a bad... He's like a grumpy neighbor who ends up taking care of his neighbor's kid and teaches him life lessons. Frickin' Bill Murray, so it looks hilarious. We got Mordecai. I have in parentheses, Johnny Depp is a twit.
Yeah, I read a description of that. He's some art dealer or something or another in the movie. But it looks like Johnny Depp doing a straight-up comedy with a bunch of good British and Irish actors as his supporting cast.
I could see that. I kind of felt like he was doing that that idle rich idiot character.
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure what the plot is. It's just kind of like him prancing around being that character. But I'm inclined to say, because the preview made it look really funny, but so did the preview for Let's Be Cops, so...
Yeah.
I've been hurt before.
And yeah, Johnny Depp's track record the last couple of years. For the most part, I still have faith in Johnny Depp, but besides Rum Diary, I haven't seen him in anything exceptionally good in quite a while.
I don't really keep track of that sort of thing. I heard that Rango was good. How long
Rango's
ago was
good, but I mean that's... I don't necessarily always count animated movies in that. Seeing an actor in something. Well, I think it's different.
This is where I leave you, which I've gotten that so many freaking times. I still think it looks good, but it looks like the sort of, like, August Osagi family members are dysfunctional and then learn how to love each other again.
Yeah, but I think they play it up for laughs a little bit more in this, perhaps.
Which I can dig, and like from what I see of Tina Fey's character, I think that I'm probably gonna like her a lot because she's kind of like the take-no-nonsense sister of a group of fuck-up brothers.
Yeah, it's a good, solid cast in that as well. Still don't know how I feel about Adam Driver, but
Who dat?
the guy who played the younger brother with the goatee, who's on Girls or whatever the fuck it's called on HBO.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like I recognized him, but I think I was getting a false positive for the guy that played the gay robot in the Grandma movie. I can't remember what it's called. It's the guy's like making video games and he lives with his grandma.
Grandma's Boy?
Yeah, thank you.
The guy who plays the gay robot.
Yeah, I am a gay robot. I have a robot vagina.
Nick Schwartzman?
No, the bad guy with like the leather trench coat.
Oh,
He
that
was
dude.
super awkward, so they
Okay.
made fun of him. Because he did a robot voice when he was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can see the similarities. Not quite there, but yeah, I can see it.
Thank you. D&D frowny face, which means we got the Dumb and Dumber preview again.
Oh, God. Every time I see that preview, the less I look forward to that fucking movie.
It is like... I never saw the first one, and it's on the list of movies that I'm in trouble for never having seen, but I don't...
You're not in any fucking trouble. I am... That movie does not hold up. When I saw it, when it first came out, like 20 fucking years ago when I was 11, yeah, it was pretty fucking funny, but watched it a couple years ago, that movie doesn't hold up. It's not that fucking funny. It has moments that are great, but...
I had the soundtrack growing up. It had Mary Mo on it.
Yeah. No, I just... Yeah, I don't have a dear place in my heart for the first one, and the trailer for this one looks like shit.
The thing is, like, as big a comedy nerd as I am, I really can't stand that kind of comedy movie where it's just, like, embarrassing stuff happening to embarrassing people, and I'm supposed to, like, be entertained by the fact that I want the horrible things to stop happening to them. I don't even know how it tends to work, but it's, like, I've said before, I think... The only movie I've ever walked out of in a movie theater was Mickey Blue Eyes. Just because I was just so embarrassed for the guy 20 minutes in. I'm like, you know what? I could be having a sandwich. I could be having a sandwich and not giving two shits about this character. But yeah, Dumb and Dumber kind of falls into that category for me. So it's the same with Borat. And again, that's on that list. But I just, I don't want to see people embarrassed for an hour and a half.
Nah, I like Borat. It was a fun movie.
At this point, I should probably watch it, because it's become the sort of thing where people make references to it, and the my wife thing. But I get it. I don't have to see it.
Well, you don't even necessarily have to watch the Borat movie. You could watch some of the Ali G show with the Borat segments that's more than enough. The movie's just an extension of that.
There's Kurt Braunohler told a story one time about how he got a callback to play Sacha Baron Cohen's assistant in that Bruno movie.
Okay.
Because they heard his name and they figured maybe he spoke German, and he didn't, but his agent was like, just go in anyway. So he went in, and they were, told him to like improv with Sacha Baron Cohen, and Sacha spoke German to him, because apparently he speaks German, and Kurt, big shitting smile on his face, just spoke like fake German back at him.
Okay.
This confused the shit out of me. He said that he was very proud that he made him break character by taking his glasses off his face, licking them clean, and then putting them back on his face. He's like, don't touch me. The end. Interview. Parentheses, kill Kim Jong-un.
Oh,
I heard they're mad.
Sure they are. Seth Rogen and James Franco again, which...
I can dig it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. I have faith in it. Like, I'd like to... Yeah. It'll probably be a lot of the same shtick as the last few movies, but that's okay.
I think it looks like a lot of fun, but I have a hard time telling because I absolutely adore the tiny Korean children playing the guitars at the beginning. And they kind of like warmed my cockles for the rest of the preview, so it looks good. It looks about like what it looks like. And then we got the preview for Kingsman again.
Oh, that's the first time I've seen that. And that.
Oh, you hadn't seen it yet?
No, that looks like a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a really good time.
Well, I do like seeing. I'll watch anything with Colin Firth in it, but this looks good.
Well, it's a Matthew Vaughn movie, and all of his movies have been very, very watchable.
What else has he done?
He did Layer Cake. He did the first Kick-Ass. He did X-Men First Class.
Mm-hmm.
He did Stardust years and years ago.
Oh, I like Stardust.
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, no, he's a good filmmaker. And it looks like Colin Firth, some kid, and a bunch of actors he's worked with before that they're like, let's cram into this movie. Everybody's remotely British. Come on in.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like fun.
Plus, you know, I love a secret agent, Men in Black, training up to be type movie. Yeah. And finally, Maze Runner. Had you had that one yet?
A few times.
It looks like
Divergent.
I got
It's
mad.
That game on my phone that I did like this.
Okay, I think we talked about this last time. In this one, I kind of noticed that why don't they just climb the outside of the maze
Oh.
and like walk around the top? Because then you could first of all see the maze. Well, because I don't know if you guys have seen this preview, but it's like these kids get kidnapped and put in a field that's next to a maze, and every morning the maze opens up and some kids run in, and at the end of the day the maze closes back up, and so they got to come back out because once it closes, it's got giant robot spiders in it. But it's got a top to it. And they've obviously been like there long enough. They've built like poking sticks and a big wicker man for some reason. Why can't they like build like the ninja claw things, or figure out some like stand on each other's shoulders, get on the top of this thing, and then just walk around to the other side?
Well,
Maybe they'll cover that in the movie, but
yeah.
it took me right out of the preview. Let's be cops.
Yeah.
I tend to time these.
That's all I got tonight is.
I tend to time these reviews by like when the light goes off. It's about 15 minutes.
I don't care how long this review is. We got shit to do. We gotta get up in the morning.
David's got to get his mouth operated on.
Yay, oral surgery. In like 8 hours. Whatever. So you get a short review because I want to go home and get some sleep before somebody tears into my mouth with a giant drill.
Okay, so good night.